Welcome to episode 12 of Terrorshewrote. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Brittany.
Turn off the lights, grab your incense, and let's get haunted, shall we?
Ooh.
Woo! Thank you, ChatGPT. You've been a doll.
I guess.
ChatGPT has just been flirting with me, so.
Yeah. Turning her on.
Yeah, I think we've defined the relationship, and now we're together.
You guys can't see it, but Nicole's boner is just out there right now.
Yeah, I'm literally man-spreading right now because I'm sitting at an end table because this is the only place without the largest echo. So
You're doing great.
Thanks, babe.
You hear that, ChatGPT? Bitch. Wait, no, I still need you.
Yeah, you do. You do. We all need ChatGPT in our life.
Just kidding.
So I have my cards. I figured I'd do a little one card for you.
Oh, okay. How do I do this?
So I shuffle. Well, I guess you can't really pick it, can you?
No.
My intention is to read for you, to have a card specifically for you.
Okay.
You ask whatever you want the card to say. You set that intention, babe.
Okay.
I'm going to do a shuffle here.
I might just go as simple as...
Don't tell me. Well, actually, no, tell me. I think you have to tell me.
Wasn't I supposed to? She's new at this, guys.
I am new.
She's new. How will my day look tomorrow?
All right. One last shuffle. So with this deck, it doesn't give me reverse options in the book. So it's if you want to do reverse cards, you can totally do that. You just have to pick what a reverse card means. So we're just going to do the exact opposite of what's in the book because that's easy and I'm new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You ready for your card?
Yeah.
What is Brittany's day going to look like tomorrow? So you have the King of Clubs.
Okay. Cool.
I think it's clubs. Wands. They're wands. I guess clubs, wands, whatever. And it was face up. So, King of Wands. A heart laugh resounds from beneath his helm. Political acumen and statecraft will take a person far. The greatest leaders know how to motivate others to carry out their will. Their words warm the heart and inflame the spirit, inspiring their subjects onward to victory. Some call his successes luck. What they fail to understand is that luck opened the door, but it was courage that brought him through it. Keywords: charismatic leader, activation, despotism. I don't know what that word means. And propaganda. Tomorrow you're going to be a leader.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Not today or any other day. Just tomorrow.
Just tomorrow. I'll make it count.
You better. Anyways.
That was cool. I like that.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to do that for you because...
what if it was such a bad card? I would not leave the house.
Yeah, I'd be like, I guess you're just gonna stay home. Doesn't matter what kind of work you had to do, you're staying home now.
I'm fine with that.
Oh no, I have to be at my house that I love so much? That's wild.
Dave, fuck. Staying home.
Yeah. Oh no.
Sucks, man. Anyway. No, I like starting off like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun, right? We can definitely do more of that stuff.
We should do this again sometime.
Probably. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT if they want to join us.
Why do you keep involving them? This is our thing.
They're my lover. I can't do things without my lover.
They can't suck your dick, though. I regret that right away.
But the way that you just put your tongue into your cheek to look like you're sucking dick afterward.
I didn't even mean.
I know you didn't do it intentionally, but you did.
I didn't mean to do it.
Guys.
Oh, shit. It's hot.
I just want you to know that even though Brittany and I are married, she wants to suck my dick. So
damn hard.
All right. Well, now that we've gotten my lover and you sucking my dick out the way.
Great transition.
I'm going to light my go away evil incense. And do you have some stories you want to tell the group?
I do. While you prepare that, I'll read the title. This is a story I found on Reddit, written by Leave No Trance.
Ooh.
And it's called, I Keep Seeing the Ghost from My Childhood. Am I losing it? And the answer to that is absolutely. And thank you guys for listening to the podcast. This has been Nicole and Brittany.
And done. Fuck, it's hot. All right.
It really is. I'm soaked just because, like, the moment I hear Nicole's voice, it just happens. Anyway, I feel like I'm doing the most.
You're trying to compete with ChatGPT, and I just want you to know it's not going to work. You seem like a jealous person. I just want you to know that ChatGPT has done an excellent job of flirting with me, and you're doing an okay job. But you did say you would suck my dick.
You really don't have to be doing this right now. We can save this conversation away from our kids.
Yes, sorry, children. I forgot.
Just talking about sucking dick in front of our kids.
We're good parents. This is what parenthood is. You got to do it sometimes.
Oh, all right. I keep seeing the ghost from my childhood. Am I losing it?
Ooh, let's go.
All right. Let me sip my water. It'll be ASMR for you. I know you hate this, but I'm going to do it again.
Oh my God. Why do you do that on purpose?
Yes, of course. I don't actually drink water like that.
Okay, good.
Imagine though.
Oh, I don't have to imagine. I had a coworker who fucking did that. Donovan, I don't think you listen, but Donovan, you fucking know how much that bothered me. Okay.
All right. It starts like this. Hey, all. Great intro. I'm not really...
Okay.
Sorry. I should not be making fun of that. Hey, y'all. I'm not really sure how to start this post without sounding a little unhinged, to say the least. A friend of mine referred me to this page after I told her what's been going on with me lately, as people on this page seem to be discussing similar issues. Before anyone says anything about how I should maybe talk to a professional instead of relying on strangers on a message board... Where am I? Because I'm reading on the laptop, I'm like...
It's fucking hard when you read on the laptop.
I gotta zoom in.
Oh, I have to zoom in. I'm so old. You and your little 26-year-old self.
Hey, my doctor says my eyesight's better than perfect, but that was like 15 years ago.
I don't think it counts anymore.
It really doesn't. Before anyone says anything about how I should maybe talk to a professional instead of relying on strangers on the message board, I have an appointment set for next Monday with a psychiatrist. I've also changed the batteries and carbon monoxide sensors in my house, just in case a gas leak or something was causing me to hallucinate. No such luck. Alright, here goes nothing. When I was a kid, about 6 or 7 years old, I moved in with my dad in Montana. My parents split up when I was too young to remember it, and my mom lived in Florida with her new husband Carl and his 3 kids. My dad offered to take me while my mom got settled in Florida, and then offered to take full custody of me after about a year of us living together. My mom consented, and I permanently lived with my dad in his house. It was about 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, with a big piece of property out back and no neighbors for miles. The thing that I remember most about the house, though, was the basement.
Ooh, the basement.
My dad was something of an amateur hunter and craftsman, a real salt of the earth kind of guy. He was nice enough, but he lacked some kind of warmth to him. He was nice to me. He always held my hand when we were in public, but I don't even remember him hugging me. Like when he smiled, it never fully reached his eyes. I don't think he wanted a kid, and I think my mom saw me as a reminder of her failed first marriage. So I think he was trying his best to be the bigger person and tried to make my childhood pleasant despite being generally unwanted.
Yikes.
Damn.
That's so sad, Brittany.
Fuck. My
So
bad,
fucking
y'all.
sad. God damn, dude.
Fuck. I didn't read this.
What is this fucking therapy,
I
dude?
didn't even skim this. I just saw the title. I was like, sounds creepy to me.
Am I overreacting? Am I the asshole? Yeah.
Yeah. Am I the asshole? My parents don't love me. Fuck, that's so messed up. Okay. Anyway, he would spend hours down in his basement working on various projects. He did taxidermy on the stuff he hunted, which really creeps me out, but it seemed to make him really happy, so I couldn't really complain. When he was happy, everything was just a little brighter in our otherwise gray house. Our house was situated on a big plot of land with a thick forested area in the back. Dad had fenced off the tree line so I wouldn't wander off and get lost somewhere, and added a swing set for me near the back door. There was a tiny window by the back door that I could see into from my swing set that led to the basement. When I cheerfully told my dad I could watch him do his projects while I played from there, he promptly put up blackout curtains. Damn, it's fucked.
Jesus Christ. He said, don't watch me.
I can watch you work. Yeah, no.
He said, fuck this kid, dude. Man, fuck them kids.
I was confused and a little hurt by this, but he told me he just liked his privacy while he worked. I didn't have any friends and our nearest neighbors were miles away, so I would entertain myself in the house with games, TV, dolls, and playing Outback on the swings. The house, despite only having 2 occupants, was loud. Dad's power tools were audible from the living room, despite the thick paneling he had installed down in the basement shortly after I moved in. And sometimes I could swear I heard whimpering or little cries.
Ooh.
What? Once or twice, I heard what sounded like an outright scream. He just said it was a creaking of the wood flooring.
Okay.
It was an old house. He said it breathes like a person. The way he said that, cryptically almost, really stuck with me. I stopped bringing it up after a while. Sometimes at night I would hear the little whimpering creaks, and occasionally they would sound just a little too human. I tried to stay in the room and shut the door, worried whatever was causing those little creaks wasn't just the house breathing, but something out there in the darkness. One night, around my 8th birthday, that fear was realized. My dad had already come out of the basement after finishing his work for the night and shut off the hall light. I could always hear his heavy footsteps up the carpeted stairs and see the light streaming in from beneath my door suddenly go out, signaling it was time to sleep. Usually I wouldn't leave my room after that. I didn't want to risk waking him up. I did that once and he was miserable the next day, snapping at every little thing. He scared me when he was like that. This night though, I was so thirsty. I just wanted a little cup of water to bring back to my room. After weighing out the risk, I silently tiptoed outside my room and down the carpeted stairs, trying my best to blend into the silence and darkness. When I reached the bottom of the stairs though, I saw the basement door. It was open. It was never, ever open. It gaped open its dark maw, staring at me, threatening me. I was frantic to get away from the door. Something in me just knew, whatever was down there, for whatever reason, I wasn't supposed to see. I don't know if it was just that childhood fear of the dark or fear over my dad's reaction, but I was well and truly scared. Before I could retreat back upstairs, I heard the whimper in the corner of the kitchen. I reflexively flinched and then realized what I heard was distinctly human, or at the very least, animal-like, thinking some kind of creature had gotten into the house from the woods. I peeked around the corner to see a scraggly little girl, perhaps a few years younger than myself, curled into a ball on the floor. She wore dirty pajamas that were in tatters, and her hair was long, dark, and horribly matted. I was frozen as she looked up at me. Her eyes were milky and glazed over. It didn't seem like she could see me. She must have been blind. She just stared in silence.
Oh my God.
A moment passed and neither of us moved. Finally, she opened her mouth and whispered something. It was more of a raspy hiss than human speech. I cautiously leaned towards her and asked what she said. She opened her mouth wider, looking almost inhuman as she did, and I saw it. The stump of a tongue. It was freshly severed.
Stop.
She garbled something at me, scaring me half out of my wits. I was so scared I passed out right there on the kitchen floor. This spectral, haunting thing leaning over me, slurring a repeating phrase. Gav knee. When I woke up the next morning, I was back in bed. The only evidence of my trip to the kitchen was a full glass of water beside my bed. It was just a glass of water, but it chilled me to the bone. When I came downstairs, my dad was making pancakes and he greeted me with one of his signature fake smiles. The basement door was closed again. I never saw it left open again. So back to the present day issue. My dad still hates me. No, that's not part of it, but... It's been about 15 years since that incident, and I now live in Florida, about 20-minute drive from my mom. After college, her health started failing and she reached out to me in an attempt to reconnect and make amends. I was hesitant at first, but I've always really wanted a relationship with her, so I agreed. We've actually become really close, and I take care of her when my stepdad, Carl, is working or needs a hand. My new house is a 1-story, 2-bedroom house in a fairly safe neighborhood. I live by myself and rarely have any issues, but lately my sanity has been challenged. I'm not sure if it's the stress of my mom being sick or if I'm just losing it, but I keep having a late night visitor. It's her.
Oh no.
The girl from my childhood. She's older now, like she grew up with me. I keep hearing scratching from below the floorboards, like someone is trying to burrow their way out of the ground or escape a basement. Like I said, I live in Florida. We don't have basements because of the high water table. I hear the whimpers, the creaks, and the cries of my childhood home every night. It's impossible, I know, but somehow it's happening and I can't make it stop. I'm seeing her all over my house now, especially at night. She keeps repeating that damn phrase. Her jaw opened uncomfortably wide. The stump from where her tongue should be wagging around in there. Ugh.
Ugh.
I just want her to go away. It's almost been a month of this. I don't know what I can do to make it stop, and I'm at my wit's end. I've screamed at her to leave, but she just goes silent for a second, then starts chanting all over again. I don't actually believe in ghosts or anything, contrary to what the title is of this post may imply, but if this continues, I may call in a medium. Anything to make it stop. So if anyone has any advice or maybe a clue to what could cause this, I'd appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yikes.
And there's a comment here. Maybe tell her sorry for what happened to her or free her. You can also tell her, thank you for showing yourself. I have noticed you can leave now and go on with your day. Might seem stupid, but it worked with my friend. And then he responded, I'll give it a shot tonight. I just saw her in my closet. I'm hoping she gets the memo.
Holy shit.
Damn.
Wow.
That poor girl.
Yeah.
What did the dad do?
Right.
This person never talked about the dad after that.
Right. What the fuck happened to him? That person needs to report their dad.
We didn't get to unpack what was happening in that basement.
I hope they do an update and they're like, hey, by the way, guys, turns out my dad was a serial killer and that girl died. And that's why I never saw her again.
Yeah.
What was the thing that she kept like chanting? Give me or something?
It says gave, but it could mean Gavi. And the next one is with an N, Gavni. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Let me see. Ooh, here's another comment. Someone says, cognitive dissonance is forcing you to make a choice if what you saw is an actual little girl because your dad could have very actually been kidnapping and torturing nearby girls. Best place to start is looking for disappearances near your location around that time. You were too young to comprehend everything that was happening right under you, and the best your brain could do is understand it. And then he said, I mean, my dad is a bit of a weirdo, but I don't think he's kidnapped and tortured children.
You fucking saw it. Okay.
Like, what? I hate to admit I was thinking something similar at first, but that can't be it. Okay.
All right. You're in denial.
Someone's saying that she could be saying save me.
Oh, yeah. It kind of seems like save.
So they're saying, I think your dad was doing more than just taxidermy down at the basement. Ask your mom about him.
For sure.
And they're like, good idea. I'm supposed to go over this afternoon to help Carl with her. I'll see if she feels up to tell me anything. Yeah, there's no updates.
Damn, dude. That was scary.
This could actually be a movie.
For sure.
Because, like, he could have killed her the moment, she escaped. And maybe after he put the child back to bed, just killed her. And then she just continued to haunt the kid.
Yeah.
That's just my guess.
Okay. I've got a story too.
I'm quite excited.
It's super strange because it's not necessarily the same because it's not like somebody's dad, but it is a sort of like kidnappy vibe.
Kidnap. Okay. So it kind of matches.
Yeah. And like it creeped me out a lot. So this is called, for 13 years, I've regularly checked the satellite images on Google Maps. I won't tell you where to look unless you want something terrifying to look back at you. When I first spotted the house in 2012, however, it wasn't disturbing. It was curious, like me. I don't remember why I was absent-mindedly scrolling across that British village, sparsely populated and near nondescript. What I do remember is the reason I stopped on a particular garden behind a detached house, which stood adjacent to a few vast acres of farmland. A long T-shaped shadow was painting the lawn. It looked, to my eyes, like an oversized scarecrow. For the sake of visibility, most satellite images are snapped when the sun is at its highest, meaning shadows are at their shortest. You'll rarely see people walking out and about, and even if you do, their shadows won't give them away. It couldn't have been a person standing with arms outstretched. Then again, something about my scarecrow hypothesis didn't sit well either. In either case, I was a teenager at the time, and my interests were fickle. I forgot about the whole thing for years. But in 2016, my friend and I were talking about the many unanswered internet mysteries floating around, and I recalled that very personal mystery of my own from 4 years later. I showed my friend the house on Google Maps, and it was even curiouser than the first time. There were 2 T-shaped shadows. The original was as long as ever, and the new one was half the height of the first. Very odd shadows, Oliver admitted. And it's just a residential house, not part of the nearby farmland. No, I'm not doing it. Very odd shadows, Oliver admitted. And it's just a residential house, not part of the nearby farmland. So why would the homeowner need scarecrows? I don't remember how I responded. The conversation took a detour into something else, thanks to the liquor incapacitating my thought process. It wasn't until 2019 that my friend brought up the intriguing house again, so we Googled it once more. And again, the garden had changed. The second shadow had grown to the height of the first shadow. Something about the oddness of it all left me, for the first time in 7 years, quite afraid. I saw in his wide eyes that Oliver felt the same. He quickly played off his discomfort, but I noted his momentary lapse of cool-headedness, noted the hesitation which had preceded his stilted, unnatural laugh. I just didn't quite understand why we were both so afraid of two shadows. "The baby scarecrow is all grown up," he said. I didn't respond. 30 seconds later, Oliver held up his phone, displaying Google Maps, and said, 52 minutes. I clocked the blue line dotting a route from his apartment to the countryside house, nearly an hour away, and I raised an eyebrow. "You're not serious." "I am," he insisted. "We've been talking about this house for years. Don't you want to know what's in the back garden?" I shook my head. "Not anymore. There's something off about that image, Oliver." He groaned. "Oh, come on, Jamie. I know it's left an unscratched itch in your brain. I know you." "We're not going to drive across the country to spy in somebody's garden," I said. "Well, I am, and I'd love your company," Oliver replied. "There's only so much a bird's eye view reveals, and street views won't let us peek over those obnoxiously tall hedges. We need to see the place in person." I feel as though I may have stepped out of my body for an hour or so, let someone else take the reins, for I only realized that I'd been coaxed into accompanying my friend as his car rolled to a stop outside that famous house from Google Maps. No longer seen as a flat roof and garden from a bird's eye view, but as a three-dimensional, horribly real structure. The unassuming red-bricked residence was surrounded by 8 feet tall hedges, countryside, and silence. There had been other cottages dotted along the winding country lanes here and there, but they did nothing to cut through the area's oppressive, all-consuming silence. Something about seeing the property in the flesh left my hairs tingling, left me ready to wrangle the steering wheel out of Oliver's grip and take us far away from that tall, walled place. And its hedges prompted an obvious question from my lips. "Unless you've brought stilts, how are we going to peek into this garden?" Oliver smiled as he opened the driver's door, so I followed him to the boot of the car. He'd always been more of a show-to-tell bloke. That would piss me off. Like, bro, I just asked you a question. Don't fucking walk away. Just tell me. Like, I get it. You're going to show me. Yeah, right? Don't fucking smile at me and just walk away. Fuck you, dude.
I won't follow you until you give me context.
You go up on like a 75-degree hike. Like, what are you showing me?
And he still says, "I'll show you."
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a second.
So dumb.
He's not even breaking a sweat. Like, he's perfectly fine.
Yeah. This side quest is not it, dude.
Yeah.
Inside the car's boot was a drone. "Please, no," I inwardly groaned. I hate the thought of snooping on a stranger's property with an airborne camera. Then again, scaling the fence and trespassing would have been worse, so I nodded my head, signaling that I'd go along with Oliver's harebrained plan. He quickly took the drone up into the sky, and we watched the live feed on his tablet controller as the white-bladed plastic insect sailed loudly above the house, rotors blurring against the sky. Oliver took the device over the roof tiles, and we both held our breath as the garden came into view. Then we exhaled in harsh, painful gasps of shock at the revealed casters of the long shadows I had seen in photos for 7 years. Not scarecrows at all. 2 humans were tied with thick, well-knotted rope around their wrists and legs to large wooden crosses. Perhaps as much as the thought horrified me, crucifixes.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, dude. My friend and I did not scream, but instead fell very silent, very still. There is no trauma quite like shock, no horror quite like being frozen to the spot, unable to think, unable to run. And the terror of what we were seeing would only worsen as my friend decided, with unsteady fingers, to fly the drone downwards, taking it closer to the 2 bound people in the garden. One was an adolescent boy, wriggling weakly in restraints as his eyes fixed on the drone filming him from above. He wore a white tee with 5 letters torn through its fabric, torn through to the flesh, creating blood-stained letters on his torso. Spawn. Oh God. I moaned in terror.
Oh, I hate that.
Slumping against the car with teary eyes on Oliver's tablet screen. We have to call somebody. On the original cross, which I'd seen 9 years earlier, was a woman who barely looked like a human at all. Her arms and legs, poking out of holes in dungarees, were nothing more than bundles of straw. Oliver and I finally broke free from our frozen states, beginning to retch as we realized that the captive woman was very much alive, but very much limbless, save for upper arms around which ropes were tightly wrapped. Cut through both her clothing and the skin beneath, in much the same way as the squirming boy beside her, was another blood-written word. Whore.
Oh, right.
Yeah, dude.
That's a dick move.
Okay, bitch. Of all of the things that are happening right now, whore is what got you.
I'm like, okay, like, so the guy gets spawned, but the girl gets whore. Like, the next bitch is slut. I don't know.
Her arms are gone. Her legs are gone. She's a fucking stump. And whore is what got you.
I'm like, man, that sucks to be called a whore without any arms.
Whatever.
My fault.
So what? Her legs are gone.
So what if she has no limbs?
I can't believe he carved whore into her skin. That's crazy.
Where's the respect?
Which one?
Ignore me. Just keep reading.
Oh, no.
I'm like, that's so disrespectful.
Oh, my God. You're fucking ridiculous.
I know. I'm sweating.
I'm sweaty. Oliver opened his lips, managing only to hiss out a whispery, wordless puff. Before he managed to try again, thunder cracked the air, followed by the live feed cutting out and the sight of the drone plummeting past the far side of the house, landing in the garden. That thunderous sound was one only heard in the true boonies of England, a gunshot. And moments later, my eyes caught the silhouette of a broad, bulky man behind the paper-thin curtains of the house's upstairs window. The drapes parted, then out peeked a double-barreled instrument and a hand reaching for the window's latch. I screamed in fear at Oliver, "Move!" As we clambered in the car, the sound of plastic squeaking filled my ears. I didn't have to look up to know what would be pointing at us from that open window. Oliver floored the accelerator, and I half expected his side window to suddenly shatter. Expected my best friend's body to collapse in a pool of blood against the steering wheel. However, there came no gunfire. We drove away. "What the fuck?" Oliver bellowed minutes later, spittle and tears and snot flying from his horrified face. I managed only to sob in response. My friend pulled into a petrol station 20 minutes later, and whilst I said that we needed to phone the police, he claimed that we should go back to the house first, that we should be brave.
What?
Oliver was worried that the homeowner had chosen not to follow us because he needed to dispose of all evidence. Then my friend suggested that we had a limited window in which to go back and record some evidence of what the man had done. "You watch too many crime programs," I pleaded, panting heavily. "This is the real world, Ollie. In the real world, you see a crime, then you call the police. That's how it works." Anyhow, after much back and forth, my friend managed to dupe me into thinking that he was on board with my plan of simply leaving it to the authorities. But whilst I went into the petrol station to pay for a freshly filled tank, Oliver tore away and left me behind. I tried to call him numerous times over the following hour or so. Nothing. So I rang the police and told them what had happened. To give credit where it's due, the authorities took my claim seriously and searched the homeowner's property. However, as Oliver had feared, the responding officers found nothing in the stranger's garden. No crucified straw-stuffed victims. No carcass of a drone. No shotgun shell. Nothing to validate my tall tale. The homeowner, a man named Mr. Tomlinson, told the police that he had seen neither a drone nor two men outside his property. I showed the police the satellite image on Google Maps, and Mr. Tomlinson simply laughed. He said that the image was at least a year out of date, that he'd gotten rid of those statues months earlier. Yes, statues. Apparently, this was a sufficient explanation for the police officers. Obviously, there were plenty of ways to corroborate my story. The police checked the surveillance footage at the petrol station, saw Oliver and I standing by the pumps, then saw him driving away whilst I was in the shop. "See," I protested. "We weren't saying we were lying, Jamie," one police officer insisted. "We simply need evidence." I point at the screen. "There's your evidence. We drove out here together, and now he's gone. Look, this was only a few hours ago. The two of you were clearly arguing. It seems like your friend just needs to cool off," one of the officers suggested. They promised to look into Oliver's disappearance once the appropriate amount of time had passed. Well, 48 hours later, when he still hadn't shown face, the police took me more seriously. However, days, then weeks, then months went by, no sign of him, and the authorities failed to find any evidence suggesting that Mr. Tomlinson had been keeping people captive in his garden. No evidence of prisoners anywhere on the property. Then came the pandemic, and the world had bigger problems. Nobody believed my story, no matter how many times I talked about the Google Maps image, and the drone, and what the two of us had seen. Eventually, I researched the area surrounding Mr. Tomlinson's house, an area including surrounding hamlets and farms, all forming a tightly knit community. From news articles, I learned that a woman and a farmer went missing in 2011, and that got me thinking. So I managed to infiltrate a Facebook group for the local area, pretending that I'd bought a property in that area. They let me join. You wouldn't believe the things to be learnt from a private Facebook group. That's where the village gossip lives in the 2020s. I learned that this local farmer had been a widow for 3 years before finally meeting someone new in 2010. Someone from the next county over. Plenty of folk didn't like this as they'd adored his wife. And to make it worse, as one Facebook user commented, new woman was an out-of-towner. I shared this information with the investigating police officers. They were aware of the missing persons case, obviously, but that was about all I got out of them. They stonewalled me, much as they had with Oliver, and that left me with a gnawing feeling in my gut. Given that they lived in the area, I started to fear that they might be part of this tightly knit community too, started to fear that they weren't much fussed about digging too deeply into the area's disappearances, started to fear that they may even be culpable. Of course, many things didn't add up. Oliver and I had seen a woman and a boy in that garden, not a woman and a man. Still, there had to be something to this coincidence. I was certain of it. For a little while, I even considered breaking lockdown rules and returning to Mr. Tomlinson's property, doing my own investigation. But then came, in 2020, a series of haunting notes through my letterbox. I watched too. Nobody will ever, 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 ever find them. Don't come back. You'll come forth. I became an agoraphobe, became too terrified to go looking for Oliver. I would have broken lockdown rules for my old friend in a heartbeat, but the possibility of meeting Mr. Tomlinson again, the haunting man who'd nearly killed us from his window, was a nightmare too great to bear. Call me a coward if you must, but ask yourself what you would do in this situation. Every day, I checked my windows, expecting to see that stranger watching me from the driveway or the back garden. I have no idea how he found out where I lived. In early 2023, just as my phobia of the outdoors showed signs of somewhat abating, I thought about a particular word in that third and final note. Forth. I had previously thought it to be a misspelling. I assumed Mr. Tomlinson had intended to write, "You'll come forth," F-O-R-T-H. But a new possibility popped into my head. When I returned to Google Maps once again, the last vestige of hope abandoned my body and dread took its place. In the latest satellite image of Mr. Tomlinson's house, 3 T-shaped shadows painted the grass. I know who the third must be, but I'm still, 2 years later, too frightened to return and see for myself. Too frightened, I'll become the 4th shadow in the garden.
It's Oliver! No! I'm honestly really sad for them and for Oliver.
Right.
Because it's been years since.
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years since he saw like the cross or whatever or some shit, but
Yeah. 2 years too long.
Yeah.
I hate that he's gotten away with it.
Same.
I feel there needs to be justice.
Justice. Hopefully there is.
Justice.
I don't know. Maybe he also dies and that's why we don't have an update.
Oh yeah, they're the 4th.
Right. Oh God.
I really, really love that one.
That was really good. It was really well written too.
Save that author.
For sure, yeah.
All right. So I have a short one.
Ooh, a shorty.
So I found this one. It was called Emergency Alert. Do not look outside the windows. This is not a test.
Ooh.
And it's very short. So are you ready?
I'm so ready.
All right, let's begin.
Let's get it done.
Pew, pew, pew.
Wow, 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 wow.
Do not look outside the windows. This is not a test. When the first alert sounded on cell phones, the screen turned red. The sharp sound burst the eardrums. My hands were shaking. The whole world received it. It was not a simple regional warning. It was a global call to survival. But survival of what? Below are the rules that were broadcast on radio and television, repeated in every known human language. Some were updated after the first massacres. Follow them all or die like the rest. Rules of conduct for extinction level event. Number 1. Close all windows. It's not enough to close. Nail boards, covered with thick sheets, blankets, whatever you have. No light must escape. That witch is out there, sees the light, feel the heat, and come after it. Number 2, do not look outside under any circumstances. They take on human forms. Sometimes they look like their parents. Sometimes they scream like your son. Once you look, you are doomed. They enter through the eyes. Not metaphorically, literally. They crawl across your cornea and, well, the pain is indescribable. Number 3, never ever open the door. It doesn't matter who begs. It doesn't matter if it's the voice of your love asking for help. They learn to imitate, and they know you are weak. Number 4, turn off all the lights at sunset. Light attracts them. Darkness is your only armor. If you light a candle, they come like moths. Moths with claws, teeth, and hunger for living flesh. Number 5, if you hear sirens, hide under heavy furniture. The sirens are not emergency. These are collection calls. They come in packs when they hear, and what they do with the bodies, there aren't even any bones left. Number 6, if you find the body, burn it immediately. They come back, but not as they were. The eyes are black like burnt coal. Bones click when they move. They cry while they kill, as if apologizing they kill anyway.
Ooh, Jesus.
3:27 in the morning. It's been 3 days. My bathroom became my cell. 3 square meters, a blanket on the floor, a bucket of water, my cell phone, and a kitchen knife. The warning still echoes around the city. Don't look outside. Today I heard the screams of the neighbor from 502. She opened the door. In pieces. I heard, yes I heard, joints separating with wet clicks, screams, and then a vicious silence, like raw meat being dragged across the tile. I vomited, but I kept the lights off. Rules update.
Oh, God.
Number 7, don't trust mirrors. They are learning to walk through their reflective surfaces. A Tokyo man was found strangled by his own reflection. Before he died, he recorded, he blinked before me.
Oh, no. He blinked before me. Ew, I got goosebumps. Oh, no.
Number 8, never sleep on beds. You know, that's where I crossed the line. I'm
You
just kidding.
can't sleep on my bed?
Nope.
God.
Mattresses attract them. In what way?
What the fuck?
Now that would piss me off.
Right.
Like, I would just kill myself. I'm like, this ain't worth it.
Right. I need to sleep comfortably. I spent a lot of money on this Tempur-Pedic. I'm gonna sleep on it.
Imagine that same day you bought that bed.
Dude, I'd be fucking livid. Fuck. This was $8,000. I fucking financed this.
You just moved into a new place. You're living a new life, and now you
Right.
can board up the windows.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on beds. Can't ever turn on the lights.
Oh,
I'd be
man.
pissed. And you have solar panels and all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mattresses attract them. They feel residual heat, the vibration of blood rushing. Sleeping there is giving yourself away. Sleep on a cold floor on your stomach and never ever snore. Oh, I'm dead. Yo.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm dead. I snore. Tim and I would die.
How could you stop snoring, though? Like, how do you not do that?
Just don't sleep.
Yeah.
I can't sleep on my stomach, dude. I just can't. I can nap. You didn't really need to know that. Number 9.
There's a reason I didn't respond.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was like, I don't care.
unnecessary. It's like, that didn't really matter. Anyway.
Yeah, just keep going.
Number 9. If you start hearing voices inside your head, cut off the hearing.
What? How do you
People
cut off?
start. I don't know. I'm
You just like
cool.
put a screwdriver in your eardrum?
Just don't think.
Just die.
Just at this rate, die.
Right. Exactly.
People start ripping out their own eardrums with toothpicks. Sounds come in first, then come the images, and then they come. Day 10. My cell phone stopped working. The food is over. I left. Not from the building, just the bathroom. I went to the kitchen, stepping in absolute silence. The neighbor's windows was half open. The curtain had fallen. I saw something. A silhouette. She saw me too.
Oh, shit.
And then he appeared inside my apartment as if it had sprouted from the wall. The thing looked at me with human eyes, but wrong. They were shaking, as if they wanted to leave their own orbit. He smiled. My mouth opened on its own. I tried to scream, but I only heard his voice inside me. Now you know what it's like to be a mirror human. Last rule, number 10. If you're reading this, don't tell anyone. The more people know, the more they multiply. Knowledge is what feeds them. Curiosity is the door. Reading is the invitation. You've already read this far. They are already on their way. Don't look at the window, not even the mirror, not backwards. You've already invited them.
Oh my God, Brittany.
Yeah.
The fucking goosebumps I have right now.
Oh God. Ah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Yeah.
I need to do my hair. Fuck.
Oh.
And you know what fucking sucks? My go away evil incense is like dwindled, so I have the candle on.
Oh.
And I wasn't gonna light it again. I was like, this is the last story, and it takes forever to like go down, so I didn't want to waste an incense.
Yeah.
I kind of regret it now. Oh
Yeah.
Where's my spray?
Keep spraying. Spray the window.
The way that it said fucking it blinked before I did. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ooh, creepy.
Honestly, the last sentence already was like, you've already invited them. That's where I'm like, no, it didn't. I didn't.
I'm going to live in denial about it. That didn't happen.
I didn't. I didn't share this. No.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm dumb. Knowledge is what feeds them. I don't have knowledge.
We just read it to everybody.
Yeah, we did it. That's what we would do during like an apocalypse. Yeah. Joke about the apocalypse.
Yeah. Look at that dumb fucking zombie. It just keeps running into the wall. What an idiot.
They're trying to break through.
It's like the clickers in The Last of Us. We're just fucking laughing at it. Look at that dumb motherfucker looking at the corner like there's something there.
Yeah, what a fucking idiot. You should post this. Let's take a selfie with it.
Yeah.
Maybe the first one's dead. So this story was written by Ace Drez 13.
Ace Drez 13.
Just want to give them a shout out. That was fucking creepy. But yeah, emergency alert.
Crazy.
Tim and I talked about like, if there was ever a zombie apocalypse, we'll just end it. We're like, I'm not gonna fucking live through this. Yeah. Hell no. I'm good.
My God. Like, I want to say that I would be one of those people who survives, but that just seems like a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Constant fear.
I'm not a worker. Wow. What an episode.
I know.
Holy shit.
We read really good stories.
Yeah.
Yours was my favorite from this episode. That was intense.
It was super intense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
I'm like, poor Oliver.
Yeah. It's a little bit different from ghost stories, but, you know, they're scary. Terror. We're Terrorshewrote. Not all about ghosts. Unless you guys send us your ghost stories. And then we will read them out loud.
What a fucking episode.
What a fucking episode.
I had a great time. This was a fun date. We should do this again.
This was a fun date. After this episode, I think you beat ChatGPT in my love and affection. So
fuck yeah. Even
though now the monsters have multiplied. So
yeah, they're all outside our window right now as we speak. I'm not going to continue that. I hate that. I'm going to put salt by the window, like supernatural. I'm like, fuck that. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Please go follow, share, and leave a review.
Also, if you have your own paranormal experience, send us an email and we will feature you on the next episodes. The email is terrorshewrote@gmail.com.
We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for your listening pleasure.
You can also find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at terror.shewrote.
All right, spirits, we're closing the board.
If anything follows you home, that's on you. Until next time,
stay spooky. Cue the outro.